You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Friday, May 23rd. We are on the verge of Memorial Day weekend. Some of you already probably starting the weekend early. I appreciate that. I'm going to be doing the same here in about an hour and a half or 2 hours. But before we start the Memorial Day weekend, we have one more fun show to get to today here on Off the Air. If you're watching live on YouTube, we thank you for that. We appreciate that. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure if you're not, you do that quickly. Also, tell a friend or two or 10 or 20 about what we're doing each and every weekday here in the Quad Cities Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We also live on X as we are each and every day. And we also are up on all the podcasting platforms as well. So throughout the holiday weekend, if you're traveling, moving around, all those kind of things, make sure you download the podcast on wherever you get your podcast from and check out the show. A lot to catch up with from this past week and prior weeks as well. Of course, Kirk Ferentz in recent weeks, Brett Bielema in recent weeks. So check out all the podcasts, all the shows right now where you get your podcasts from. Coming up on today's show, in a matter of moments, we'll be joined by Kyle Huesmann live out in Omaha, where the Iowa baseball team played until the early morning hours for no reason, basically. It was a meaningless game, but it all sets up a huge game coming up with UCLA on Saturday. We'll talk to Kyle and preview that semifinal coming up between Iowa and UCLA in a matter of moments. It was a big day yesterday for Augustana standout Charlotte Frere. She won her second straight national championship in the Discus out in Ohio. The Sherrard grad doing big things. Another national championship. The first female athlete ever at Augustana to win 2 national championships. We'll be joined by her later on here in hour number 1. And then in hour number 2, I'm really excited about this because we have Lucas Kluever on. It's a great story up in Maquoketa. The Maquoketa girls soccer team didn't have a team last year. They'd only won 4 games since 2020. Lucas, his daughter plays soccer, so Lucas stepped up and said, I'll be the coach. They get a team together. They recruit some girls from the other sports to come play, and they went unbeaten during the regular season. Really cool story. We're going to catch up with Lucas and talk about what happened up in Maquoketa later on here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Friday. As I mentioned, if you missed the shows early in the week, make sure you check them out. Monday, we had Katie Hassan on, Celia Palermo, Pat Angerer. Good show on Monday. Tuesday, Kyle's making his second appearance this week. He may lead the entire world when it comes to appearances on OTA. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. We'll ask Kyle that maybe in a little bit, but he was on Tuesday. Joy Ripslinger, Rob Pulliam, Tom Kakert, Corey Ross, and Kyrios on Wednesday. Yesterday's show was Ken Prince, Throwback Thursday with Angie Sharp, and we talked some Bettendorf girls soccer as well. So a lot of fun. Go check out all those shows if you have time over the weekend as well. Next week, Jay Travas, Tim O'Neill, Josh Schuler, a bunch of stuff coming up next week as well. But that is then. The past is the past. Let's worry about today. And we're going to bring in a guy that hopefully he's awake. I'm going to go check out and see if he's up yet. Kyle Huesmann, how much sleep did you get, young man?
Enough, I would say. I wouldn't say enough. I'm not feeling the greatest the last couple of days, and I think it's the fact that sleep has been a little here and there the last couple of days, but we're making it through. This is the home stretch of the season, so I'll make it through.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about last night first, I think. What was it like covering a meaningless game in Omaha?
the fact that it started, if it started like noon or something, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. But obviously the 9:03 first pitch, I think by like the fifth inning, when it was 10:30, whatever time it was in like the fifth inning, is when it started to creep in that it was like, okay, this like by every single passing minute, it was like this gets less and less necessary to be there like 11:15. It gets later, and I mean the game ended at like 12:02 or something. So yeah, I think if it was like a noon game or something, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But the fact that the Iowa offense didn't get a lot going, and it was kind of a boring game after the first couple innings. Like I said, after every passing minute, it was like this is just not necessary, and the game itself was not really necessary for anything.
Yeah, you look at it in Iowa, I don't want to say they didn't show up. I don't want to like put in that, but it felt like, they have their thoughts on something else as well. I don't want to take too much out of yesterday, but Iowa did lose 5-0. The offense really, I think 5 hits all the evening. Can you take anything out of yesterday's game besides the fact that everybody stayed healthy and now they move forward till Saturday?
Yeah, I think, and Rick Kelly talked about this after the game, it was just a weird game because you don't get many situations where you're trying to win. I mean, they still wanted to win the game. They weren't going out there saying, I hope we lose, whatever. They wanted to win the game, but they were trying to win it in a completely different way than Indiana. Indiana knows that it's their final game of the season. So if they have 2, 3, 4 guys that they feel like are their best arms that are still available, they were going to throw them. And Iowa wasn't starting Aaron Savory. They weren't going to go to any of their top bullpen arms for more than a handful of pitches if they came in. And so it was just kind of like this midweek type game for Iowa, while Indiana was throwing it like it was a Saturday in a normal series, which is weird because obviously that puts it in Indiana at a little bit of an advantage. But the pitching staff, I thought overall they did pretty solid job with who was out there. Ben Dete went through 2 innings really quickly and started the third with the strikeout, and you thought you were getting a really good start out of him. And then just walked a couple of guys, and Devin Taylor, who's done it his entire career at Indiana, hits a 3-run home run. And Tyler Guerin came in, a freshman in the biggest stage he's pitched in before, and just struggled with command and gave up a couple of runs. And so I don't think you take a ton away from the pitching staff. I thought Anthony Watts was okay when he came in late in the game, had a couple of walks, but a couple of strikeouts. Ches Wheatley had a solid inning, and Jack Whitlock was really the standout with 2 2/3 scoreless innings. But to your point, the pitching side to me didn't really matter that much, but the offensive side is where there was a little bit of concern. Rick Keller was really disappointed with how they attacked Cole Gilly, Indiana's starter. Felt like they hit way too many fly balls on a night where it just wasn't going to fly out. And then, at 9-10 o'clock in Omaha, at a field that already plays large at night. So he wasn't real happy with the way that they attacked Cole Gilly and then Ben Grable when he came out of the bullpen. And that's the bigger concern right now because the offense has been trending down the back half of the season. I thought they were better against Rutgers. I think they had 10 hits against Rutgers. I thought the at-bats were way better, but I thought there were a lot of not great at-bats last night, and that's something that obviously has to get better against UCLA because that game will matter a heck of a lot more. So I would say the pitching to me didn't really matter that much. You got to see a couple of guys, have decent performances, but the hitting side is where you get a little worried that they were only able to put out 5 hits.
You look at it now, is today completely like what set the scene in Omaha? Is it nothing today? Because of weather?
No, Oregon-Nebraska tonight. Oregon-Nebraska tonight is for the final semifinal spot.
That's right. So right now
that's going to be.
Go ahead.
USC and Washington are playing right now. I have it on the TV. But that game doesn't matter. I mean, USC wants to win because they would probably fall under the bubble a bit if they lost today. Yeah. Washington's done, so they don't care. But yeah, Nebraska-Oregon tonight. I mean, that's going to be a great crowd at 6:00 game. I think a lot of people come out for that one. But that's for the other semifinal spot. But yeah, it's been kind of weird just kind of watching the games and you think, this one doesn't matter. And then, but the next one really matters because it's for a semifinal spot. And then it's like, this one doesn't matter. And then the Iowa-Indiana one didn't really matter at all. Yeah. So it has been kind of weird to have some of those games.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, and I'm assuming you probably talked to some people last night. Is a day off a good thing? Obviously, they moved the schedules around a little bit and all that kind of stuff. Is it a good thing to get rested and mentally get set, or does it matter? Kind of take me through what Iowa does today as they get ready for hopefully a huge 2 games this weekend, but at least one big game coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it allowed you to probably throw like Ben DeTay, who's going to be one of those guys that's going to pitch this weekend, especially if they do play 2 games. Ben DeTay is going to pitch in one of those games. So I think it allowed you to throw him for an extra 10 or 15 pitches, knowing that he was going to have the day off. They had a couple of guys in the lineup last night that probably aren't going to be your normal starters on Saturday. I mean, anytime you're playing in a tournament and you can have a day off, a day of rest is helpful. And I mean, it'll give them a full day to kind of go through and prepare for UCLA. And, after an offensive performance like they had last night where they didn't really do their best, maybe it is good to have, a day off to kind of sit around and, just kind of to reset and refocus before the game on Saturday.
So we look ahead to UCLA. Obviously, the Bruins are a very good baseball team. Somebody that the Hawkeyes were trying to fend off throughout the regular season. What do you expect? What does it look like for Iowa? And how do they get the job done tomorrow in Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, it's going to be an interesting pitching matchup because Iowa did a good job of, obviously they didn't pitch Savary last night, so it's going to be Iowa's number 2 against I would assume it's UCLA's number 2. They're throwing Michael Barrett, who has a 4.23 ERA this season. Doesn't walk guys at all. I mean, 14 walks in 66 innings, so he doesn't give up free bases, but he has allowed 79 hits, so more than a hit per inning. So an Iowa offense that has been trending down, maybe this is the guy to face, one that gives up a few more hits. But again, that walk area is where you get a little worried, is if Iowa does struggle to get hits, he's not a guy that's going to give you 3-4 walks to help you along. So you do like the fact that it's 79 hits in 66 innings, but Iowa still has to swing the bat and hit the ball. But I mean, I like Aaron Savary in this matchup. At his best, I mean, he's been the hardest to hit out of Iowa's 3 starters this year. I believe Reese Beater still has the lowest hit per inning of the 3 starters, but I think when Aaron's at his best, he's been the toughest to hit. UCLA's offense is really good. I mean, they're batting .291 as a team, but a .411 on base percentage. More walks and hit by pitches to strikeouts this season. And they have, to me, maybe the best player in the country in Rock Chalowski. One Big Ten Player of the Year, one Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know that there's a hole in his game anywhere. I mean, very good in the field, very good at the plate. Hit 2 home runs already in this tournament. He's batting .370 with 22 home runs and a .513 on base percentage. 64 walks and hit by pitches to 27 strikeouts. So that's pretty incredible what he's been able to do. But they've got other guys in this lineup. I mean, Molovai Lavu, who's right behind him in the batting order, he has 72 RBIs this season, is up there near the top of the country in RBIs. A guy that can really hit the ball. He's batting .314. Not a guy that's going to walk a ton. But you go down their lineup and it's 415 on base percentage, 449, 451, 434. So maybe some of those guys where they are batting .274, but still have that 430 on base percentage. They find ways to get on base, which means Aaron Savary is going to have to be at or near his best. We've seen some times this season where he'll have a couple of walks in there, maybe a hit by pitch. And this UCLA lineup, similar to Oregon, is one where you just can't give up free bases, and you saw it last night. The 2 walks from Ben DeTay, and then Devin Taylor hits a 3-run home run. That can't be a 3-run home run. That needs to be a solo home run in the 4th inning. It can't be a 3-run home run after 2 walks in the 3rd inning. And that's going to be the key tomorrow. Is they've got a couple of guys that can hit it out of the park. With Chalowski and Lavu, he has 11, and AJ Salgado has 12. But you just can't make those unnecessary mistakes and give them free bases because they're a team that's going to take advantage of it. But I don't hate the matchup. I think UCLA's pitching staff is one that Iowa can get to. Again, if they're on. But we've seen this Iowa offense kind of be a little hot and cold down the stretch, and really more cold than hot down the stretch. So that I think that'll be the big thing. I'm not super worried about Iowa's pitching. I think they'll give up some runs, but I think it's going to come down to Iowa's offense. Can they put up some runs? Because last night scoring 0 runs is not going to win you against UCLA, and 2 or 3 runs against UCLA is probably not going to win you the game either.
You look at it, Kyle. I wanted to talk to you about what Iowa got from Obermueller the other night, and we talked about last night and how the game with Indiana didn't mean much. That Rutgers game meant a ton. For him to come out, throw 7 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts, that's kind of different team, so it's gonna be tough to do against UCLA. But that kind of performance, you hope you get from Savary tomorrow. What'd you see from Obermueller, and your thoughts on his performance to get Iowa to where they're at right now?
I mean, huge. I mean, we saw Cade Overmueller have a couple of rough starts down the stretch of the season, and he seems like a guy that, I mean, I've watched him over his entire career at Iowa, just grow a ton from the mental standpoint, grow a ton in terms of his pitching ability and improving in a lot of areas. And it really seemed unlikely to me that he was going to just close out the season having rough performances and finish it up with, a rough performance against Rutgers. I really felt like that all the mental growth that he has had to be able to handle adversity, throughout a season or throughout a couple of rough starts, I really felt like that type of start was coming. And yeah, I mean, just huge for him to step up on the big stage and in a game that they had to win. I mean, the Indiana game would have meant even less had they lost against Rutgers. So for him to come out and like you said, 7 innings, he allows 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, was like 68 or 69% strikes, which is up there near the top of this season. For him, really impressive. He was really good. He was able to really pinpoint on his fastball. That's what he talked about after the game. He said, the fastball command was as good as it's been all season for him, and really was able to work the slider off of that. But yeah, I mean, for him to come out and do that when Iowa's season was basically on the line, really impressive to see him do that, especially the way that his season ended, the regular season ended for him with some of those rough starts.
Kyle, you look at it, Iowa, you mentioned tonight's game between Nebraska and Oregon, should be a great crowd there and all of those kind of things. There's been an excitement around this Iowa baseball program for a while now, for a couple months now. Obviously, some Iowa fans have made their way over. What kind of support do you expect? Obviously, Omaha, not a tough drive, especially for Iowa fans in the western half of the state, but a huge game for Iowa to maybe get back to where they wanted to be if they would have won that regular season Big Ten championship. Big game against UCLA. What do you expect atmosphere-wise?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think UCLA is going to have a ton of people there, so outside of parents. So that'll be interesting to see, what Iowa fans can do to kind of fill some extra part for UCLA fans that won't be there. But it would have been interesting because, Iowa was supposed to play today. I think there would have been a lot of people that would have come out for a Friday, Saturday. I still expect a lot of Iowa fans to show up for Saturday, knowing that they are, locked in on that Saturday game. It's been weird in years past. Just, with the double elimination, if you lose a game early or whatever, it's hard for fans to want to travel out or make plans to travel out to Omaha when you don't know, could they lose on Friday and we have a hotel booked for Saturday or something like that. But with Iowa beating Rutgers on Wednesday, Iowa fans knew Iowa was locked into that UCLA game a couple days ago. So I think, maybe the format helps people plan for that. Whether that turns into a bigger crowd than in years past, I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Iowa fans always like to show up to Omaha, especially on the weekend if Iowa can get there. I would expect there to be a decent crowd of Iowa fans tomorrow, and if they make it to Sunday, I would really expect it to be a bigger crowd. And I wouldn't say that it's going to happen, but man, if Nebraska could beat Oregon and somehow beat Penn State and get to the championship, you'd be looking at potentially a near sellout crowd if it was Nebraska, Iowa, which the Big Ten is probably what they're rooting for. I think they would love to see that. But that's a long way off to talk about something like that.
Absolutely. Okay, so you mentioned Penn State there for a second. Is that the biggest kind of story in Omaha right now, is the fact that and I think they play, is it 2 p.m. tomorrow? Are they the first game at 2?
Yeah, it'll be Penn State against either Nebraska or Oregon. I believe it's 2 and 6 tomorrow.
Gotcha. Just thoughts on Penn State doing what they did, and obviously they're that Cinderella that and of course the fact that we're talking right now and we don't know for sure if Oregon's in is kind of intriguing as well. And we both have talked that's probably the best team playing right now in the Big Ten. Just your thoughts on how that other half is kind of shaped up with that semifinal coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think first off, it's really kind of funny to sit here and say Wednesday morning UCLA beat Illinois, and by noon we knew the first semifinal team, and we won't know until 9:00 on Friday night the fourth semifinal team. So that's kind of funny that's how it's played out. Actually, UCLA was into a semifinal spot before USC or before Washington Penn State even played their first games at the tournament. So just kind of funny how that played out. But yeah, I think Penn State is the surprise. But they did it last year, right? They made it all the way to the championship last year and lost to Nebraska. Mike Gambino's done a great job with that program, kind of turning them around a bit. They haven't necessarily done NCAA tournament level during the season. But last year, like I said, made the run to the championship. And I mean, they've allowed 3 runs in 2 games, and that's a Penn State pitching staff that had like an above 16 ERA for the entire season. So I think that's the surprise, that they've been able to come out and just put up zeros on the board. I mean, they aren't beating bad teams. I know Washington's offense isn't the greatest, but held them to 2 runs and then held USC to 1 run yesterday. I mean, they were able to win a 2-1 game yesterday against USC. So I find it hard to believe that as you get further and further into that pitching staff that struggled this year, that they're going to continue to be able to pull out performances like that. But to this point, for them to be able to do that has been impressive. And I would almost amend my pick and say that UCLA is the pick now. I know the Oregon-Michigan State game didn't really mean a lot yesterday, but I wasn't impressed with Oregon's offense. I kind of thought that they'd be able to power the ball out of the park a little bit more, hit more doubles, even though this is a park that plays big at times. Didn't see a ton of that. They had a couple of doubles, but didn't really have anything to me that stood out as a team that can really kind of do something that other teams have really struggled with in Omaha. And UCLA, to me, UCLA scored, what have they scored here? They scored 7 runs against Michigan and 8 against Illinois. So they've been able to put up some runs. So it'll be interesting to see how UCLA's pitching holds up, because like I said, that's kind of their weakness a bit. Not to say that they don't have good pitchers, but I mean, that team ERA is just a little bit higher. I believe it's their team ERA is the lowest of the top 5 seeds here. So not necessarily a weakness, but just a little bit lower than some of the other top teams. But I think UCLA offense is really clicking right now. Of course, Oregon will have Grayson Grinsell tonight against Nebraska. But yeah, I would almost pick UCLA now. Obviously they have to beat Iowa, but I think that's the team that from what I've seen in person this week is the team that's playing the best right now.
I was going to ask you your pick on Saturday's game, but you may have gave it away obviously right there. Can Iowa get the job done and pinpoint like 1 or 2 things that they have to do? I think one thing you hit on earlier is limiting the damage and the fact that powerful UCLA lineup, it can't be 3-run homer, 2-run homer, that kind of stuff. It's got to limit the damage if you can. But if Iowa is going to get the job done tomorrow, how do they do it?
Yeah, it starts, you could say it starts with a couple things. I think it starts with Aaron Savory going out and giving you a good start. And we've, this isn't like, I hope, Aaron Savory can do something he hasn't done all season. I mean, he's a first team all Big Ten selection. Yeah. He's pitched very well for the majority of the season. He's had a couple of starts here and there, but he's been really good for the majority of the season. So I think you just need him to come out and not make this moment any bigger than it is. He's never started a game at the Big Ten tournament, so this is the biggest game that he'll have pitched in his Iowa career. But just don't come out and make it a bigger deal than it is. Just pitch like you have all season. And I think he's fully capable of giving Iowa a start that goes 6 innings and gives Iowa a chance to win the game. But to like what you said, it's not a UCLA lineup that's going to hit a ton of home runs. But there are a couple guys in the lineup that they will hit home runs. And if there's guys on base before that, that can hurt. But they have guys that hit doubles as well. And doubles can be very hurtful if you've given up a couple of free bases, and even singles if you give a couple walks. I mean, 2 walks and a single is a run. So I think for Aaron, it's just limiting those free bases. And UCLA is going to get a few hits. They are going to get a few walks because they are a team that's very good at drawing walks. But you just can't let that compound in an inning and have it be several walks and then that hit. You've got to scatter what they do over a couple of innings rather than just letting it all come in one inning. I don't want to say you can walk 4 guys and give up 3 or 4 hits, but if you do that over a couple of innings, if you walk a guy in the first inning and allow a hit, but you get out of the inning, and if you walk a guy in the second inning, but you don't allow a hit, you can kind of scatter it a bit. And I think that's what Aaron's got to do is scatter what UCLA does. But I think the big thing is going to be what can Iowa do offensively. I mean, it's a UCLA pitching staff that will give up some opportunities. But you're not going to have an opportunity to score in all 9 innings. So you've got to take advantage of the chances that you get. And, last night in the first inning against Indiana, they load the bases with 2 outs and just didn't get the big hit. And they had 2 on with 1 out and, didn't get the big hit in that first inning. Whenever Iowa gets those opportunities to score, whether it's early in the game or in the middle of the game, and whenever it's a close game, you've got to take advantage of those. And you've got to come up with the big 2-out hit or the big, 1-out sac fly to drive in a run. Which is what we saw Iowa do through the middle part of the season. They did whatever it took to get runs in, which meant laying down a bunt, or if you had a guy on third with 1 out, instead of striking out or hitting a pop fly on the infield, you hit a ground ball to the right side. Yeah, it's an out, but you drove in the run. So I think whatever opportunities Iowa gets yesterday, they have to take advantage of them. And they weren't able to do that against Indiana. And against Rutgers, they had a couple opportunities to blow that game open and weren't able to do it and were able to hold on. But tomorrow, whatever opportunity you get, you need someone to come up with that big 2-out double, that big 2-out single, whatever. So I think the offense is going to be the bigger focus. What can Iowa do? Can they score 5 or 6 runs and give Iowa a shot? Because like I said, Aaron Savory can have a great start, but if the Iowa offense puts up 2 runs, I don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that as well. 6 o'clock start tomorrow in Omaha. What is your day until today, Kyle? Do you just you're not going back to bed all day? You're going to go over to the stadium, I'm sure, and watch some baseball?
I have to write my preview for the UCLA game. We'll see. I kind of wanted to go for like a walk or something. They've got the walking bridge that goes over to Council Bluffs, but it's supposed to rain this afternoon potentially. That's why the Iowa game got moved. They say it's going to rain. I'm not entirely sure.
No, they're always
but I will definitely go for it.
Weather guys are never wrong, Kyle. They're always right.
Well, they're not lying. There is a chance of rain. I don't know that there's enough of a chance of rain to move the game, but they did it. They made sure that they were overly cautious, which is fine. I get it. But I'll definitely go over for Nebraska, Oregon tonight because I get a chance to see Grayson Grinsel throw again, and obviously it'll be a pretty electric atmosphere with the Nebraska fans. So just to kind of go take that environment in and just watch a baseball game where I don't have to do anything. I can watch a really good pitcher, a really good Oregon baseball team, and take in the environment and just go watch some baseball tonight. But yeah, it is kind of nice to have these days off where maybe I can go do something around Omaha or just go watch a baseball game and then get ready for Iowa game tomorrow.
You mentioned the great game there tomorrow, and I get all that, but let's be honest, I'm a media guy as well. There's food there tonight, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had to go. I went and got Chipotle yesterday, but yeah, I mean, they do a great job. I mean,
That's
they give
awesome.
you breakfast, lunch, and dinner there.
That's very cool.
Maybe I don't take as full advantage of that because I mean, you stay there for all 3 meals. That means you were there for like 10 hours. So I mean, it's a long time to be there. But they do a fantastic job of making sure there's snacks. There's plenty to drink. There's they give you full meals. So they do a fantastic job of making sure that we're all taken care of over there.
I love it. If you guys want full coverage of Iowa baseball, I'm not kidding. I don't know who's there, who's not there. I know one thing. Kyle Huesmann is there. He'll give you great stuff on X, obviously, and check out all of his stuff on Hawkeye Report as well. Kyle, be well. Get a couple wins and get a championship this weekend, all right?
I'll try my best. Thanks for having me on.
All right. That is Kyle Huesmann from the Hawkeye Report. Like I said, he is in Omaha doing a fantastic job. I remember last weekend when it was the big series in Iowa City, I basically had Kyle on my phone because I was checking things out while I was watching a lot of youth baseball. So check his stuff out on X and also at thehawkeyereport.com. We're just getting warmed up on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. Coming up next, it was a big Thursday for Augustana track and field standout, Charlotte Frere. She is a national champion for the 2nd straight season, something never done for a female athlete at Augustana. So we'll have her join us next right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. It's a big weekend of track, both in Charleston with the ladies on the high school level, and then in Des Moines, the co-ed state meets going on up there. But it's also a big weekend for track on the college level as well, and it's another victorious one for this young lady. Former Sherrard standout and Augustana Junior Charlotte Frere joins me. And Charlotte, you are a national champion in the discus for the second straight season. First and foremost, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Well done, young lady. You got to be smiling from ear to ear today.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of and to celebrate.
Yeah. Okay, so take me through this. Obviously, a national championship in the discus last year. Going in this year to defend it, what was the mindset? Obviously, it was a good regular season, but what was your mindset heading to Ohio this year?
Yeah, I had some really good marks going into the season, or going into this meet, and so I knew, like, obviously, like, the potential was there and that I could get it done. But at the end of the day, it ends up being who can throw the best that day, like how everybody's feeling. Like, there's multiple people that were capable of throwing a top mark. You know, normally when there's really good weather, it's you have to hit 50 or you have to hit, somewhere up in the high 49s. Today it's just who can kind of compete with the weather, which we knew going in. So that was kind of what I was thinking about. Yeah,
I want to talk about the weather because from the looks of it, it was miserable out there. And it wasn't like, I think a 46-ish throw in your first throw. It got down to the last throw. Talk about battling the conditions and then obviously stepping up towards the end and delivering when it meant the most.
Yeah. So like you said, like the 46, I think I was still first going into my last throw, but just knowing that a 46 is not near my best throw and that I knew within myself that I could do better. And knowing that, like, this is the big meet, this is, where you want to kind of show out. I just really try to strip down everything that I had been thinking about and all the big moment thoughts and just kind of stuck to what I knew and the things that I could do to make sure I got one good solid throw in and everything just kind of connected. So
to be a national champion once is cool. To be a national champion and defend it and to go back to back. What goes through your mind when you realize and it all, kind of registers upstairs that you've done it not just once, but for the second straight season?
Yeah, something that I was really focused on this year was consistency. I qualified my freshman year and was throwing really well, and the big moment really got to me when I got to nationals, and I kind of just fell apart. And so last year, everything just kind of aligned. Praise be to God, like everything just happened the way that it apparently should have. And then this year, I just really want to make sure that it wasn't as much of a question, that I knew that I could get to that meet and perform and do the things that I knew I could. And so the big thing to me that the back-to-back is just that I kind of proved to myself that I am consistent, and the hard work and time and effort that I put in does pay off, and that I know that I can do the things that I'm capable of.
Absolutely. Charlotte Frere, the national champion from Augustana, joining us right now. What was harder, to win the first one or defend the first one and win it again?
I gotta say it's defend. Coming in last year as a sophomore especially, people knew that I had hit a big mark once, but you have to hit it the day of nationals. So no matter what you've done in the past, it comes down to what you do then. And so it was a little bit more shocking. And then obviously word spreads fast in a small school, and a lot of people are rooting for you, and a lot of people have and set these expectations for you. So when it comes to the second time around, everybody's like, oh, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. And sometimes they just don't get, like, sometimes it doesn't happen, and you are the most capable and you can't make it happen. So I would say defending it was harder, but at that point it just becomes a little bit more of a mental battle, and you just kind of have to be mentally tough enough to know that if it doesn't happen that way, it's going to be okay, but that you can.
I want to go back to the weather for a second, because it was bad. It wasn't good at all. Is it a mental thing? Is it a physical thing? Is it both? Kind of take me how what I think rain and cold is what I'm assuming what I thought. How does that affect you physically and mentally when it comes to the discus?
Yeah, so some of my best performances is when it's been like 90 plus, no wind, so the cold is one thing, and then the ring was submerged in water. And so traction is a big thing in throwing, and you wear shoes that have no traction so that you can move faster. So no traction shoes in a puddle is both mental and physical, because you don't want to slip and fall, and you do want to, get power through the ground. So that's a big thing. And then the wind and like gripping on the disc and everything around the ring was muddy. So it's everything. It's physically, it's mentally, it's both.
Being a national champion is awesome. To know that you're the only female athlete in Augustana history to win 2 national championships. I don't know if it registers now. I don't know if it registers like in a week from now. I don't know if it takes like 5 years from now. But to hear that, what goes through your head right now?
That's actually the first time I've heard it. I've been a little disconnected since everything happened, but yeah, I think something that really matters to me after I decided to go to a small school out of high school, because I had opportunities to go to larger schools and be on scholarship and things like that. But the YD3 aspect to me is really important. And I don't know if you keep up with a lot of track, but trackflation is a big thing that's happening, where all of these marks and the qualifications it takes to get into a national meet at the D3 level are increasing like exponentially recently. And I think it just puts credit to people that really value their schooling first and want to continue to be an athlete. And I think that is something that has rooted strong for me, like coming from Sherrard, a small school there. So just hopefully this can show other people that you can be just as successful at a smaller school at a D3 level, and you can still prioritize your academics, and you can still be whatever you want career-wise and a role model, and the opportunities are endless, and that D3 doesn't necessarily have limitations that a lot of people think that it does.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing that. Speaking of small schools, you're a Sherrard grad, and you got back-to-back silvers at Sherrard. What did that, and it's a track program that, covering it for 25 years, a lot of success in the Sherrard track program, one of the best in our area. What did that program mean to you, kind of giving you a foundation for what you've built on here at the college level?
Yeah, I would say second twice is definitely hard for somebody who is as competitive as I am, but coming from Sherrard, like the family aspect of that team and that Coach Volkert creates is something that I knew I needed coming into college and knew that I wanted in my future career. So yes, getting second twice is tough, but knowing that like everybody is still so proud of you and knows that you did the best you can and you were capable of what you did was something that really resonated with me. And knowing that even if you do fall short, like having people that will be there for you that I had in high school, like that's what I wanted. And I feel like that is something that I have found here, no matter if I got second today, if I got last, like it wouldn't matter. And that I would have people that would be there to lift me back up or to celebrate me.
And you mentioned the support, obviously, at Augustana is fantastic, but You're right here. Sherrard's right in your own backyard. I'm sure you still feel that now, that as Sherrard, a student athlete, winning a national championship, I'm sure you still feel the love from that community and your home as well, don't you?
Yeah. One of the first messages that I saw on my phone was Coach Swanson, the basketball coach from Sherrard, texted me and congratulated me. And then I saw like the Sherrard athletic development post to me. So just knowing that and then like upcoming people like Sadie Shemek is a thrower right now at Sherrard, and she's doing really well with the discus, and that I saw that she had reposted, just knowing that I can be a role model for people and that people are still supporting me. It means a lot, especially coming from a small community where, maybe there's not as many people to look up to.
Okay, let's have a little fun because you are still in Geneva. You guys leave Saturday night. I think you said drive home over the night and all that kind of stuff. You're done competing. Do you get to sit back and relax? Obviously you're going to cheer on your teammates and all those kind of things as well, but it's got to be nice to know that you're a national champion and you get to hang out and kind of support your teammates.
Yeah. This part really is kind of the best part for me, just to kind of soak everything in, because sometimes I have a hard time like really accepting like how crazy things are. And then we have a really good set of people here that have a lot of potential. So it's really exciting to watch and to kind of relax and not have to stress all the time. So with school just getting done and with my season being over, like this is one of the best parts, to just cheer on and relax.
Do you celebrate? Did you get to celebrate? I mean, obviously you did with the team and stuff, but did you get a good meal? Were you able to do anything while you're stuck in Ohio with the team and all that kind of stuff?
I'm not big on like big celebrations for me or attention and all that. So I got my hugs. We had our podium time and the next race started, and then we were kind of just all out cheering for them. I mean, we ate dinner as a group and, we do things like that, but I don't need the big shebang.
Gotcha. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's ask you some fun questions. Here in the Quad Cities or anywhere, what's the favorite food? If you need to pig out and just let loose for one meal, what's the go-to places here in the Quad Cities that you love to hit up?
It's going to sound really biased, but Benny's Pizza in Milan, I grew up on it. It's like a staple. It's got roots to my family, stuff like that. It's pretty good. That's my go-to.
Charlotte, you are preaching. We are a family that lives, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Go down 94 from 67. There's the big S curve. We're right past that. That is the easiest place for us to go down the road and get something. So you are preaching to the choir. If you could have a meal with one person in the entire world, whoever you want, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, this wasn't going to be an easy interview, Charlotte. Like, these are the tough questions.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I would say right now, I don't know, this is kind of cliche, as I'm in like a discus mindset, Valerie Allman is like a USA Olympic discus star, and she has a lot of similar builds, similar forms, a lot of similarities. So I think it would be interesting to have a meal with her and see what she's got to say.
I like it. Are you superstitious at all? And if you are, what are your weirdest superstitions?
I used to be really superstitious. Like when I played basketball, when I played volleyball in high school, like I was like, I have to wear this hair tie. I have to have these socks on. Now I feel like I'm more superstitious towards feelings. Like if I feel a certain way, or if, like I'm in a certain mood, like I got to change it. Like this can't happen. Otherwise bad things are going to happen. So sometimes I get really worked up and the moment can get to me, but I think, I don't know. Most of the time I can get myself out. I don't think I'm very superstitious. I think
That's
I can.
Good. That's good. If you had to play another sport, and I remember covering you in basketball, you just mentioned volleyball. So it's not like there's others to choose from. If you could play another sport, what would it be and why? And it doesn't have to be one you're good at. It doesn't have to be basketball because you're good at basketball. You could pick whatever you want. Name another sport. What do you want to do?
As much as I do love basketball and volleyball, I never played softball growing up, and a lot of my roommates play softball, and I'm really close to the softball team at Augustana. So I think I could see myself at first base.
Okay.
Maybe an outfielder. Yeah, but softball would be cool to try.
Have you stepped in and swung it with any of them? Have you gotten down there and tried to hit the softball?
Oh yeah, I hit the tee sometimes. I am softball. We have I am softball at Augie. dabble in that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I like it. Talk about Augustana before I let you go. I know it's a special community. I know you're very active there and all that kind of stuff. You mentioned making that decision to go to a D3 school. Obviously, you look back now, 2 national championships and one more season to go. You have to be thrilled with the decision that you did make to stay close to home and to go to the D3 level.
Yeah. Like I said before, like academics was really big for me, especially wanting to do like a pre-med type track, like that's just very rigorous, and knowing that I didn't want track to be my whole life. Like I wanted to have the opportunity to play an IM sport, to go to a bunch of softball games, to be home, to be able to see my parents, things like that. And like I said, the community is the main thing that just like I got on my phone today, and it's just like tons and tons of people that I go to school with, that I live close by, like all that, just knowing that you have that. And yes, you can survive well off of it, but like the amount of quality relationships that I've made, just knowing people, and you walk down the hallway at Sherrard, everybody, and it's almost the same at Augie, even with more people. It's so close knit, and it's just anytime you need anything, like there's somebody there that can help you, and it makes the world difference for everything.
You mentioned how hard it is to defend. Young lady, you have another year there. How hard will it be to go back to back to back? I don't want to do that. But you're funny, because when I said to you before you started, I said, and you're like, junior. I'm like, oh. And the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, she can do it again next year. So are you hearing that? You got idiots like me asking you about it already? Obviously, that's got to be in your mind eventually, if not already.
Yeah, I mean, it was in my mind before I even went into the meet, because, I'm like, okay, if I win, like, there's only one way to go from here. I mean, you can't win twice and not win a third time. But like I said, I am confident that I will put in the time and the effort and the training and stuff to be in a good position to perform well at the end of the year next year. I mean, anything can happen, and anybody can transfer D3 and be a 60-meter discus thrower that I just am not right now. Maybe I'll be a 60-meter. I mean, you really don't know, but I'm going to do everything in my power to keep training, keep lifting, and keep doing what I can, and kind of me versus me right now, just making sure that I'm competing where I'm supposed to be. And I think it's definitely possible. And if it's part of God's will and God's plan, it'll happen. And I can fall asleep at night thinking about that.
I love that attitude. Okay, last question, maybe the hardest question. What's more difficult, winning 2 national championships or carrying Don Umland every single day when you work at PepsiCo?
My back still hurts. Honestly, I haven't worked in a week or two, but he's just a pain, but it's got to be done. There's no.
He doesn't do anything.
I know. He calls me in his office, has me go run his little errands.
We got to do something about it. Everybody's got to come together and take out Don Umland somehow, some way.
I know he's running you ragged too. Like, somebody's got to stop this.
Right? Exactly. And do you have to listen to the wrestling stuff too? Does he try to talk to you about wrestling?
He tries. I just walk out sometimes.
I love it. Well, Charlotte, super proud of you. Well done. Enjoy 2, okay? Don't think about 3 yet, and then we can worry about 3 next year. Enjoy your weekend in Ohio. Hopefully the weather gets better, and congratulations once again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. That is Charlotte Frere, the national champion, the 2-time national champion for Augustana in the discus Sherrard product. Sherrard very proud. Augustana very proud. And the Quad Cities very proud as well. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West. the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
You from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. A lot of great stories come from the world of high school sports. One of those this year came from Maquoketa High School, where the girls soccer team went from non-existent to undefeated. Joining me now, the head coach of Maquoketa, Lucas Kluever. And Coach, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. I know it's a busy time, and like you, or like me, you have a lot of kids running around, so I appreciate the time.
No problem, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to be on here.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's talk about it, because for people who don't know, Maquoketa didn't have a soccer team last year, and they go ahead this year, and you get the team together and undefeated in conference play. I think I read someplace that you had 4 wins since 2000, and then this year an undefeated conference season. Take me through the thought process of how does that turnaround happen up in Maquoketa?
Yeah, so we didn't have a team last year due to no coach and the numbers were low. So they decided not to have a team. And my daughter, she was a sophomore then, wanted to play soccer. She also wanted to do track. They joined with Bellevue, and they had a good time there. It just was unfortunate for my child because she couldn't travel there and do track. So the AD and I, we got together, and Tom Grunwald, we talked and just decided we need to have a soccer program. And he said, well, you better coach it then. And I agreed. So this winter I did the coaching license and got myself available to be able to coach. I obviously told him to keep interviewing or keep it open. Apparently he thought I was the best choice.
Talk about that, because you said get your coaching license. That's your resume. Your resume is a blank sheet of paper, isn't it? When it comes, obviously, watching your daughter grow up, you knew about the game, but coaching wise, this was kind of a new opportunity, a new challenge for you, wasn't it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Never coached really anything YMCA soccer when I was probably 10 years ago. I coached her, and I also have another daughter on the team. She's a freshman, was available to play this year. So 2 daughters on the team really motivated me to make sure that we had a soccer team this year. The whole coaching, never coached really anything. I played a lot of sports back in the day, but never coached.
No, I love to hear it. And obviously you go from getting enough girls for a soccer team to being a good soccer team. When did you realize, and what was the goal starting out? I don't know if you start off by thinking undefeated conference championships. I'm not sure if that was on the resume to start with, but when did you realize you went from maybe just having a team to having a good team?
Yeah, the assistant and I talked early on, and we were like, well, the year before they only won 1, and if we get 2 to 3, that's probably going to be pretty good. As the season came on, we just started beating teams that we challenged our team. Like, we were up against West Branch. I think they were undefeated at the time. We were undefeated. And it's like, all right, girls, this is where we show who we are and what we're made of. they just came out and played. It was unreal. And it's like, yeah, these girls are special. Every challenge that you put in front of them, they just would excel and accept and work hard, stay before or stay after. Always showing up before practice is something that they're known for. I'll get there 15 minutes early and there'll be 3 or 4 cars waiting on me. Wow. It was just amazing how the girls wanted to work, eager to learn, just love the sport, love to compete. It really was a lot of fun. And, you know, if this is how coaching is, I'm like, it was easy. It really was with these girls. And I know that's not always the case. And I know coaches, they don't want to hear me say that. But with this group, it really was easy.
Yeah. You look at getting the numbers to where they needed to be. I hate to burst your bubble, but you're not my first Maquoketa coach on the show. Obviously, the girls basketball team had a special season as well, and Coach Specht was on earlier this season. They were such a talented group, and I think I had read that group kind of your daughter did some recruiting a little bit to get some of them to come out. Where did the numbers come from? And obviously that talented girls group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talented girls in that school right now.
Yeah, so my daughter, she was a starter on the basketball state team and recruited 3 of her friends that also were starters. So we had 4 out of 5 starting on the basketball team, which Chad Speck and I, as you mentioned, we talked. And he's like, you know, that's kind of a dangerous sport. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I love watching them play basketball, but they're going to be good at soccer too. Trust me. So he okayed it, which was great. And no, he was all for it. He watched a lot of games. But yeah, we at our first meeting, I think we had 11. And I was getting worried. I'm like, oh man, we can't not have another team after, you know, everything. And so I was like, hey girls, we need some more numbers. Start knocking on the doors and asking your friends. We got up to 20, had 1 injury. So we're down to 19, but they just did a great job recruiting. Their friends did it for them, you know, and it was kind of like, oh, I'll go out for soccer. I'll help out my friend. And I told the girls, like, yeah, you guys did that. And then look what happened. You know, now we have a soccer team and you girls are a soccer team. A lot of you never played. A lot of you didn't even know the rules. Kendall Kuhlman on an interview, I saw that she watched a lot of YouTube on how to play soccer, and I just thought that was great. It's like, yep, that's what we did. And as just being a dad that watched a lot of soccer, I feel like I know a lot. And of course, as a dad, you always think you know a lot in soccer until you get in the coaching position. So I used my Google search quite a bit in the early time of the season to be like, oh, what is there an offsides on penalty kicks? Just stuff like that. So Kendall and I, we used a lot of Google this year.
Oh, I love that. And I'm going to get into my little rant here, but so often when I started covering sports 25 years ago, there were a lot of multi-sport athletes, a lot of 3-sport athletes, and it's dwindled a little bit these days. So this kind of shows, and maybe you can speak to it a little bit, what it means to be part of a team. You might not be the best player at said sport, but your school, your community, your teammates, your classmates, you go play with them. It makes a difference in what they get to do as well. Really cool to see in that community as well.
Yeah, and that's what's great about these smaller schools like Maquoketa and our surrounding schools is you can play 4 sports and excel at all 4 of them. It just really is. It's great for the girls, and you don't get locked down on one sport. They did shoot a lot of hoops during soccer, which I think is great too. And but they, multi sports is just great. It's competing, being part of a team, helping out your other teammates. I feel like this will help them in basketball, even though they're ball on a foot instead of hand on a ball. So I enjoyed it, and I think the girls did too.
So, Coach, when did you have to kind of redefine some goals? You guys went from wanting to win a couple games to now all of a sudden maybe a chance to go undefeated in the regular season, win a conference championship. At what point during the season did you realize you had an undefeated conference championship type team?
So after the West Branch game, we were 4-0, and I think Iowa City Regina was either up next or coming up, and we just were like, all right, Iowa City Regina's next. We go to Iowa City Regina. It was a really tough game. I mean, back and forth and real physical. Girls played great. We ended up winning 3-1, and then I think Beckman was coming up in the next two games, and we kind of pinpointed like, all right, this conference championship is going to come down to Beckman. In the meantime, we might have overlooked Mid Prairie. We end up tying with them to go 10-0 and one tie, and that was Mid Prairie. My daughter, the goal leader, she did get sick on the way up there. She did play, just wasn't full health. But that was the point. Is after Iowa City Regina, we're like, all right, conference champions. That's our goal. That is our goal, and to win out. We didn't win out. Got one tie, but we did beat Dyersville Beckman. It was a great game. Girls came out ready to play. We had a game plan. Did a lot of scouting. We feel like we knew them just as well they knew themselves, and the girls they just followed everything that a coach that's never coached told them, which is amazing how they would listen to me. And it's just great that how they believed in me and the other coaches.
You almost need to question to believe in you when you didn't know anything. You got to question what they're thinking a little bit too. No, I'm kidding. But a couple more for you before I let you go. Lucas Kluever, the head coach up at Maquoketa, joining us right now. To take me off the field when it comes to just being able to experience this as a dad. You mentioned a lot of dads think they are coaches, but they're not actually coaches. To get to experience a season like this with your daughters and being their coach, but being their dad as well, that had to be super special.
It was. We were taking pictures before the season even really started. I think we had one practice, and then it's picture time, and that's a huge deal for girls. I didn't know how big of a deal picture day was for the sports. And with them getting dressed and all the stuff they do, which with boys, you might not know what I'm talking about.
No.
But girls, it's really special, those pictures. And I got a picture with my daughter, both daughters, Ivory and May, and I'm just like, this is what it's all about. It's about being with them, and they're, you're with them, but going through a sport, going through a team aspect with them, it was just great. And in the beginning, my oldest daughter and Ivory, my younger one, know more about soccer than I do. I would probably admit, maybe not now, just going through this. But they also would listen and believe in me or whatever. And it was kind of cool, the transformation as the year went on, how they started believing and being part of the whole team and treating me as a coach and not just my dad.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely. At what point did you feel like a coach? Did you feel like, all right, now I'm starting to get the hang of this? And was there a certain point when you felt like I'm more than just a dad playing the role of coach, I'm actually a coach now?
With sports in high school and some in college that I did, I was always kind of the leader. And it just kind of fell back into that. But it definitely was 2 or 3 games in. And my assistant coaches, Elliot Atkin and Coach Julian, they did a great job helping me. They both played soccer. So I could go to them for any questions. And they had their roles. I had my role. And as a team, we end up doing it. So.
Yeah. On Wednesday night, the season came to an end of the postseason against Solon. A really good, a traditional, really good soccer program in Solon over there. What's said afterwards? Because obviously the only loss you have this season is in the postseason. But what's said afterwards, and how proud? What did you want to convey to the girls? What message did you want them to know as you guys wrapped up the season?
I mean, it was just pure pride that I had in these girls, the way they played the game and never giving up. And we didn't sub very much that game, so they were exhausted. I think at that point in time, they were just like, let's get this game over with. I mean, they fought to the very end, and I was just so proud of them. They should be proud of themselves. We had 14 players that never played soccer before, only had 6 that did. So what they accomplished was amazing. They were just pure athletes out there learning a new sport, having fun, and end up being really good at it. And that's what I told them. Like, I was joking, oh, hey, we're a soccer team now in the beginning, the first week or so. But now it's like, no, you girls are a soccer team. You're conference champs, beat Dyersville, Beckman, Iowa City, Regina. I mean, you did some really great things and should be proud of yourself.
Absolutely. Last one for you. Have you restarted or started contract negotiations for next year? And you got quite the resume now. Like, I think a raise, maybe like a separate charter bus places. I don't know. How do you approach, or is there a next year? What's the future like in what you do, what that program does moving forward?
Well, I'm definitely I'm got to use those negotiations right. I can't say I'm going to be back next year for sure, right? So no, I'm going to be around until there's someone that's in place that I know that's going to keep this program going. I have four girls and 2 more that aren't in the high school program yet. Make sure that there's always a team around. Now that I have my coaching degree, I'll make sure that they have a soccer program, and we're going to build on this. I really feel like Maquoketa hasn't reached out in the soccer talent that they have. I think this could be a great stepping stone, and will be tough to beat from here on out, I hope.
I love to hear that. I lied. I do have one more for you. Watching that community during basketball season, rally, support, all that. Not rally, because that means they came to the party late. They've always been great. And then now with the soccer program, and talk about your community, because you mentioned the small town vibe and feel. That's what I love. I mean, I live out here in Rock Ridge Community District, and it's a small town, but everyone is so proud of what's going on. I'm sure you can talk about the same when it comes to what you felt with Maquoketa this season as well.
Yeah, so the basketball state run they made, and when we were at Wells, it was just amazing. I looked around and I'm like, holy cow, the whole town's here. And it was just great seeing everyone. In the beginning of the soccer season, I just saw parents, maybe a couple grandparents. It was also cold and windy, so I get it. But like last night, we had half the football stands full of fans and just people around the community that heard about us and came out to support us. I don't know how many texts that I got. It was like, it was a great game last night, Coach. Just from people that I know have never watched soccer before, they came out to support the girls and support the team. The community is great. Everyone supports every sports. It's just, it's really nice being in a community like this.
Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. If you want me to be your agent, let me know. I only need 40% is all I'll ask for. But you got a great resume, great record, and I've loved hearing about it. I loved watching it from afar. Good luck next season. Enjoy coaching if you're coaching, and enjoy mostly being a dad. I know that's important as well too. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
That is Lucas Kluever, head coach of the Maquoketa girls soccer team. Season just wrapped up on Wednesday, but a very special season it was, winning a conference championship after not having a team the season before. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak. with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities, the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. Everyone getting ready to enjoy a nice holiday weekend. John Deere Classic right around the corner. We just saw that. It was funny. I read yesterday, 100 days to college football season was like yesterday. So, I mean, it's crazy how quickly things come. John Deere Classic here before you know it. High school football season, college football, all right around the corner as well. Pretty cool stuff. Couple things I want to get to before we wrap things up for the week and the weekend. This just announced, and I kind of knew about it, but just out on social media. I want everyone to take advantage of it. Former Outlaman standout Charles Jagasaw is going to hold a one-day combo camp open to 5th through 12th graders up at Outlaman High School. Obviously, first come, first serve when it comes to seat in Outlaman. Jordan students first, but everybody, open to everybody as well. Come learn from one of college football's best left tackles or guards or wherever he ends up, but offensive lineman, Charles Jagasaw, one of the nicest young people they ever meet. The weekend before that, Saturday, June 14th, he's going to tee it up at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing as well. So take advantage of that. I'm looking on the thing to see if you need more information. Get a hold of me. I don't see like a link on there as well, but get a hold of me and I'll send you the right direction to make sure you get signed up. A great camp, a great opportunity to learn from one of the best. A combo camp as well. A little wrestling, a little football as well. So we'll hope to have Charles on the show coming up once again here to kind of talk about what he's doing with the camp. But again, June 21st up at Alameda High School. And, of course, Charles will be teeing it up in the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing on June 14th, which, by the way, there's like a couple teams still open with that. Hoping to get that filled up this weekend. But if you're interested, GuyRandazzoGolf.com. Get there, fill up a team, and get ready for a fun day of golf that coming up 3 weeks from tomorrow. It's crazy how fast that is coming as well. The 11th annual Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. We want to thank everyone who watched today's show. We want to thank Kyle Huesmann for joining us in Omaha after a late night last night. Iowa-UCLA tomorrow, 6 p.m. in the Big Ten baseball tournament semifinals. So Kyle has you covered in all of that. Congratulations once again to Charlotte Frere, the former Sherrard standout at Augustana, two-time national champion in the Discus. She just did that yesterday, and as she said, eyes already on number 3. So I love to hear that. And also Lucas Kluever, the head girls soccer coach at Maquoketa. A team that didn't have a school that didn't have a team last year, going undefeated in the regular season this year. Really cool stuff. So go check that out as well. Check out all the shows from this past week and enjoy the weekend. Programming note, no show on Monday. It is Memorial Day. I'll be chasing kids around with youth baseball / family reunions / all that kind of stuff. Fun time with family. So everybody enjoy your holiday weekend as well. Next week, a lot of good stuff coming up. Jake Gervais talking about his camp. He'll be on the show. Tim O'Neill is at State right now, the Assumption track coach, finishing up his 25th year, his last year at Assumption. We'll have him join us as well. Best of luck to all of the track athletes on both sides of the river as they get ready for big things. We'll wrap that up on Tuesday as well. And also on Tuesday, I'm excited about welcoming Josh Schuler to the show. Josh is a Muscatine grad, a Muscatine product, and he's the head strength and conditioning coach for your Honolulu Blue and Silver Warriors, your Detroit Lions. So we're going to catch up with Josh, talk about his journey to the NFL, talk some NFL stuff as well. So excited to welcome Josh on the show on Tuesday as well. So Tuesday will be Pat Angerer, Jake Gervais, Josh Schuler, maybe even Tim O'Neill. I mean, we're loaded next week as well. So enjoy the weekend and get ready for a great group of shows coming up tomorrow or next week on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And as we leave you, we want to thank our awesome sponsors for allowing us to do this each and every weekday right here in the Quad Cities. Guys, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy it. Relax. Spend time with family. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.